After I look through this code is something like a invoice management cost calculator, and we are given a code and we should find what is the correct total bill for 6,200 invoices on this particular date, 2025 August 19. Given this information itself is already inside this particular line of code. So now let's move this code into Visual Studio Code. Okay, so from these two functions here, this first function, I know that this one is just the return true or false, whether to determine you are eligible for the discount or not. It takes an argument day, and then they compare it if you are within the discount period or not. If you are in there, you return true. If not, then false. Okay, now for this particular function, it takes two arguments. One is the volume and another one is the day. Volume is already stated here, 6,200 invoices. And this particular day itself is this, is the day here. So if we call this function and then put this information inside, we should be able to get our total cost, which is the base plus the overflow cost. Now let's see what happens if we try to call this function with the necessary information. Bill already stated 6,200, and for the date itself is 2025 August 19. So now see what happens if we try to call the function. You see, we only get 3,000, but the correct answer is 3,300. Why? Now let's look into the code line by line to see. So first line, math import floor. Second line, from date time import date. Okay, so floor, what's the difference between floor and then ceiling? Now let's open up Notepad. Let's say we have a value of 3.14, let's say pi. If floor and ceil itself is a function to convert a number with decimal places into a whole number. We want to get rid of the decimal places. So how do we round it? We are not, round and floor is not the same as rounding. It's not like, it's if the decimal place is like 4, then no need to increase the number. If it's 5 and above, then you increase the number. No, it's something like this. Let's say we have 3.14 number here. If we have ceil, it goes to the next biggest integer, which is 4. The next biggest integer is 4. 4. That's why ceil is 4. However, for floor, it goes to the next lowest integer, which is 3. The next lower one is 3. So floor should be 3. This is what we should know about floor and ceil. And for date time, date itself takes 3 arguments. First one is the year. Second one is the month. And third one is the date, which is the day, sorry. The day itself. And this one is a tier. Tier is a dictionary with some information. From this information, we have a key called base fee, which is an integer of 3,000. Key of included, which has a value of 5,000. Key of overflow per 1,000, which has a value integer of 300. That is all we need to know here. And then for discount, we have also another dictionary with key active, a Boolean value, which is true, a start key, date at 2025 August 1st, and at date 2025 August 31st, and then percent key value 10. So from this here, we can actually get something like, if your date is anywhere from August 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2025, you will be eligible for a discount of 10%. That is what we need to know here. And then this one here, we already explained just now. And now let's move on to this particular function. Okay, so first one is the overflow. Overflow here inside we have another module called max. Max is something like a function to compare between two numbers. It will take the largest number. So from this part here, we have 0 as our first number, and then volume minus tier included. Volume, what is our volume? 6,200. Sorry. Volume equals 6,200. And then tier included. This particular thing here is to call tier included, which is 5,000. So, and then our tier included is 5,000. So overflow equals to 6,200 minus 5,000, which is 1,200. Okay, now we know that overflow is 1,200. Now blocks. Blocks is defined by floor overflow 1,000. So another one, we have blocks. Overflow is what? 1,200 divided by 1,000. 1,200 divided by 1,000, which is 1.2. So if we floor 1.2, as we discussed just now, what we will get? 1. It will go to the next lower integer, 1. Okay? And for overflow cost, is blocks times tier overflow per 1,000. So blocks is 1. We have only one block. And then we have tier overflow cost. One times overflow cost per 1K. Overflow cost per 1K is 300. So 300 equals 300. Only 300. Base equals tier base fee. Tier base fee 3,000. Simple. And then we have another if statement here. If statement, if true, we do this one. If false, we skip. So let's see if this statement is true or not. In discount day, day is taken from this one. It inherited from this particular argument. So since we are going to check if it's true or false. So now we move on to here. Our date is 2025, August 19. So discount active, true, okay? And this one, is day anywhere between this date? Yes, because we are somewhere between August 1st, 2025 and August 31st, 2025. So this one is true. So why this one return true? If we open the AND logic gate, we can see here, false, 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 true, false, true, false, false, true, true, true. And it applies to the same here. If true, false, false, is false, true, false. But however, if both are true, then we will get true. So this one will return true. If true, then base will become this one. So now let's count what our base fee here. So base equals to integer round base 1 minus discount percent divided by 100. So let's open up a calculator. 1 minus discount, 1 minus this one. Let's do this one first. So this one is discount percent 10. 10 divided by 100 is 0.1. 1 minus 0.1. 0.9. Base times 0.9. Base 3,000. I'm sorry. 2,700. Round, we no need to round because we are a whole number, integer. It is an integer, so no need to change anything. So our new base will be 2,700. Now let's calculate our base plus our overflow cost. So this one, base is 2,700 plus overflow cost 300. 300 equals 3,000. This is why we are getting 3,000. But why 3,000? Why not 3,300? That's where the floor and seal plays a part. If we change to seal, we will get 3,300. Why? Because if we change this part here, remember overflow is 1,200. 1,200, right? If we use it on seal, this will become 2 instead of 1. And then 2 times 300, 600. And then we have our new base, 2,700. 2,700 plus 600 is 3,300. So why should we use seal? If we do not use seal, because we already stated here, for 1,000 overflow is 300. Let's say you have 5,500 invoices. In your base fee, you already covered 5,000. So regardless of how much invoices you have, like for example, you have 4,900, 4,800, you still need to pay a base fee of 3,000. Even you are less than 5,000, they already include 5,000 for you. However, for any invoices that you go over, you need to pay an overflow fee, and they are counted by per 1,000. Like if we go into count like every single one, there will be very much decimal places. We want to avoid that. So that's why we only count by blocks. Blocks is per 1,000. Okay, and let's say 6,200, let's say 500 lah. 500 after minus the included is 500 left. So we will still count you 300 for the overflow cost, because it makes our calculation much easier, much easier to round off. I think in terms of all businesses lah. So we will always count on the higher side. If you only count to the floor, we are technically giving you free 500 invoices for free, for free, you know. Like we manage 500 invoices for you for free. We want to avoid that. And at the same time, we do not want to count too accurate and then will cause too many decimal places, which causes very hard to manage our accounting. So that's why we need to use seal here instead of use floor. And I think that's all for question 1. I hope you have a great time of listening me on this explanation. Thank you.